Hey everybody, Rich coming at ya with another episode. Here, let's let the theme music play for a second. Here comes the best line. And my baby in a 69. You ever notice that? You ever notice that line? Me and my baby in a 69? That's Bryan Adams. Summer of '69, going back to the 80s when that came out. Bryan Adams singing about the 60s. Anyway, the reason for that, their theme music, is that as you might know from my recent videos, I've been pretty inspired by the recent Top Heritage 1969 style cards. And also by the episode put out this morning by my friend Dustin Bellinger. He put out the original 69s, showed his 69 collection. So today I was working near a card shop. Luckily I don't live near a card shop. The nearest one is 70 miles away, and it's a good thing, or I'd be spending a lot more time and money there. But I was near there today by chance, and I decided to look through the boxes of top 69 series that they had there, and I picked up a few Yankees just so I could add them to my collection and have a few cards from the what I think is a fantastic set of cards and design. And so let's get into it here. I'll show you what I got. Just a few. They're not all in the greatest condition. As you can see, the centering on this one is pretty bad, top to bottom, even left to right. It's a little off, but you know, I'm just happy to have them. They're not making any more. I mean, they're making the Topps Heritage and stuff, but they're not making any more of these actual 69. So I got Roy White of the Yankees outfield, Tom Tresh, shortstop and outfield is what it says on his card. The centering's horrible on this one, as you can see, but it is an original 1969 Topps, and I am happy to add it to my collection. Bill Robinson, outfielder, 1969 Topps. Fred Talbot, pitcher for the Yankees in 1969. The summer of '69. This is the summer of '69 for me, because I'm going to keep getting myself some of that Heritage this summer. That's pretty cool, right, with the trophy. I got a Judge card like that in the Heritage set, and that's the original. It's pretty cool how they're so true, how these Heritage 2018 Heritage are really true to the design of the original 1969 Topps series. Horace Clarke on second base for the Yankees, front and back. Okay, this was pretty cool. I get tons of these in the Heritage of these style of this one's the rookie starts of from the Pilots. Do you even remember that team? They were only a team for one season, and then they moved to Milwaukee and became the Milwaukee Brewers. But for one season they were based out of was it Seattle, Washington? And that's the Lou Piniella rookie card. Lou Piniella of Yankees fame and Cubs fame, managerial fame at the Cubs, and Marv Starkley, infielder. But anyway, I just thought that was cool. I mean, I don't have any, a lot of people don't even know that was ever a team, the Pilots. And I believe the owner of that team was a pilot, and that's, I don't know his name, but that's the story I got, that he named the team the Pilots. They only lasted a year, and then they up and moved to Milwaukee and became the Brewers in 1970, I believe. But I just thought that was a really cool looking card, and I wanted to have one of these style of cards rather than, you know, the regular base cards, which I like. But I have tons of these from the Heritage series, you know, league leaders and whatnot in that format, and I just thought this was an especially cool one to get my hands on. So I'm pretty stoked, honestly, on that, to add some. I didn't have any original 1969 Topps cards in my collection. And then I picked up a few other things there, dude. I kind of went nuts, I gotta tell you. I mean, nuts for me. I mean, a lot of guys will spend more than I spent on a single card, but for me, you know, a handful of $1 and $2 cards is kind of a big deal. But check this out. As you guys know, probably, I recently finished reading the biography of Babe Ruth titled The Big Bam by Lee Montville. It was phenomenal, and I plan to do an episode on it, but I got really inspired by the 1920s and 30s Yankees, the Murderers Row, as they started calling them in 27. There was actually an original Murderers Row before Babe Ruth's era, in the 19 teens. They another lineup they called the Murderers Row, but the most famous Murderers Row is the one that included Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. So I tried to get a card from each player in that lineup, and I think the only guy I didn't come up with was Tony Lazzari, second baseman during that era. But this is Earl Coombs, who played with Ruth in the outfield, and the other outfielder, Bob Musell. These are kind of a I didn't even notice when I was in the shop that these are kind of a rainbow refractor style. I don't know what you call that exact kind of card, but it looks really cool in the light. I'll show you the front and back of at least one of them. You can see what I paid there, $1 for that card. I'm not even sure what year this came out, but obviously, you know, I'm not going to get my hands on any original cards from their playing days of these guys, not anytime soon anyway. So Joe Dugan at third base in the Murderers Row lineup. We got Wyatt Hoyt, the pitcher. He pitched. Did you know Babe Ruth pitched for the Yankees? Everybody knows he pitched for the Red Sox, but he pitched a handful of times as a Yankee, as I learned in that book. Really more than a few times. I mean, a handful of times. He pitched, you know, several times throughout his career, all throughout his career, here and there at different times. Towards the beginning of his career as a Yankee and towards the end of his career as a Yankee, he did throw whole games for the New York Yankees. So that's kind of interesting too. Who do we have here? Okay, this guy was in the book too. He came onto the scene right at the end of Ruth's career, as I recall. But that's Gordon. Is that Joe Gordon? That's kind of a cool card. Not the same set as that one I was showing you a second ago, but it is that Murderers Row set. But this one's kind of a rainbow style card too. It looks cool in the light. And then another Earl Combs. Couldn't pass that one up for 50 cents. Pretty cool, man. Hall of Famer. 1930s, 20s and 30s Yankees. And then Casey Stengel, who I don't believe ever played for the Yankees, but managed them in the 40s, I want to say. He played for other teams. The Giants was his main team as a player, but then he moved over and managed the Yankees for some years. Just thought that was kind of cool for a buck, trying to get up on my vintage Yankees players, get a, you know, represent. I picked up a whole bunch of 87 Topps. I hit the 86 pretty hard last time I was there, so I went, you know, pretty hard on the 87s this time. I love the 86 and 87. They're two of my favorite years for Topps. As you know, the 86 is the black bordered with the iconic, you know, typeface across the top. And then these are like the wood grain I got Don Mattingly, Ron Guidry, Dave Righetti. I got, you know, damn near every guy in the active roster from Bob Shirley. Can you see those? Are they out of focus? I don't need to go through them all. I'll just skim them. But it was pretty sweet. You know, I think I got these, you know, they're about a quarter each. Maybe not even some of them. These I kind of went for quality. I tried to get good centering, good registration and color, you know, good corners, everything on them. Doug Drabeck. I wanted, you know, but when I can afford it, I like to get a good quality card. But if it's the difference between a $5 card and a $1 card, the only thing I can't really abide is paper loss. If it's got paper loss, unless it's a super rare card, I'm not too interested in cards with a lot of damage and paper loss. But if the corners are a little beat in a card from the 50s, you know, I can live with that. You know, just to add a 1950s card to my collection, which I do need to do an episode pretty soon on my vintage, my actual true vintage, not just vintage players. But I have every year now at least one or two cards from every year of Topps through the 1952 to 1960. You know, I wanted to at least, you know, represent, have one of each year. Shoeless Joe Jackson. Geez, Mikey was talking recently about the Black 1919 Black Sox scandal, and I mentioned Shoeless Joe Jackson. As you can see, he has shoes. I read a book about him too a while back, and the fact is he only ever played one game without shoes. He showed up to a game and with a new pair of cleats, and they didn't fit, and he hadn't tried them on. He didn't know they were the only shoes he had with him, I guess, that he could play in. I don't know what he wore to get to the game, but when he went to put on his spikes, he couldn't get his feet in them, and he wound up playing the game in his socks. And it was early in his career, and it earned him the name Shoeless Joe Jackson, which he always hated. And he actually had a really nice collection of shoes, just to spite the people that called him Shoeless Joe. He really did not like the nickname, but it stuck, you know, and he went down in fame. He actually went down in infamy for that Black Sox scandal, but the fact is, and there's a movement to have him included in the Hall of Fame, to have him exonerated, because the fact is, he was not a part of it. He tried to expose the scandal. A lot of his teammates were in on it, but he wasn't. And he actually had the best series of any player on either team. So he was obviously not trying to throw the game. He didn't accept the money, but somebody left the money for him in his hotel room, and when he tried to turn it in, they told him to keep it. Whoever, I can't remember all the details of the story. But anyway, the last thing I'm going to show you is this fantastic, this is the first actual case of cards I've ever bought. It's a Babe Ruth series put out in 1992. I didn't have to pay very much for it. I mean, less than $1 a pack, far less. There's actually 47 packs in here. It says that it's one short of the case. I guess somebody dug into, stole a pack, probably the one with the best hit in it or something, who knows. But I got 47 pack Babe Ruth collection. I'm really looking forward to this. A lot of great photography and cards. I actually have a few loose cards from this series I picked up here and there in the past year or so, but now that I got the case, I mean, I have 100, it's going to be 48 packs. I don't know how many's in each pack, but say there's 10. I mean, that's 480 Babe Ruth cards. I get excited about one Babe Ruth card, so I'm really stoked to have that. I'm looking forward to cracking some of those. And I got, this is the last thing I'll show you, actually. I picked up the only 2 packs they had left of this other Babe Ruth collection. This is a Leaf Babe Ruth collection that I've been working on this set for a long time now. I've been picking up a pack here and there where I can find them. I got, you know, maybe half or fewer cards from the set. I'm definitely not going to complete the set with these 2 packs, but I do like it, and looking forward. I haven't really gotten too many great hits out of it, although there are some. There's some relics and stuff, and if you were to buy a case of it, you might get something good. But I just like the base cards. I like anything with Babe Ruth. I love all the old photos and stuff. So I'm pretty stoked on my pickups today. But I'm definitely stoked to add some 69s to my collection. I'm going to wind it up here because I think this video is probably getting pretty long. So thank you guys for watching. God bless, and have a fantastic summer. We'll see you around.